Reddit, what was the incident at your work? Story 1. I was controlling at a strip club, the person who sits there while you get a dance to make sure nobody's breaking the law. When we had the waitress come up and tell us that someone was downstairs looking for a guy who had just booked one of our dancers for an hour, I assumed it was one of his mates, so I dismissed it with, tell his mate he can hold his own dick for an hour. When the waitress goes, it's his wife. She says they have a flight to be on and she found him when she checked where his credit card had been used. I damn near shit myself laughing, and we went to go get the unfortunate patron. He was crowing, nah, I'm single, I don't have a wife, on and on, until he walked downstairs and saw her, muttered, oh, and walked out with her, his tail between his legs. Kudos to the wife. She was trying so hard not to lose her shit at the staff and the dancer, I bet he got fucking slaughtered later. Over a year in strip clubs, only angry partner incident. Story 2. Vet office after closing. Two male techs decided to take cushions off of a couch, hold them in front of their bodies, and run at each other full force. Now, one is an average 180-ish pound man, and the other is just under 400 pounds. The little guy goes flying and splits his forehead open to the wall corner. Now we have a work injury that needs to be reported, unless he wants to foot the bill for obviously needed sutures. I don't remember what they decided or if they made up a story for workers' comp. We do not speak of it. Story 3. Our corporate office is on the 4th floor while the main store is on the 1st floor. The storefront has no restrooms just because it's not the kind of place where people need one. Anyway, someone had directed a customer up to the offices where she could use the restroom. The double doors to our office burst open and this lady comes running through the lobby and down the hall leaving a trail of shit. And a surprisingly huge amount of it. Everyone noticed a horrific smell first, and then the sight of it. It was especially hilarious because we had the Disney Corp in taking a tour of the place. They were ushered into the conference room and someone made the receptionist clean it up. She was crying hysterically. I really can't put into words the sheer horror for everyone involved, but to this day, no one laughs about it and no one will speak of it. Story 4. Warehouse here, a guy in a hurry decided we would climb 3 pallets high to grab a case instead of bringing the pallet down with a forklift. Well, he slipped and bounced on the concrete floor. Now whenever someone does something unsafe, we call it bouncing. Where's Bob? Oh, he's over in the overflow aisle bouncing around. Edit, the guy survived, but he's on permanent disability. Story 5. Using a throwaway because some Redditors know me, I was once on assignment in Malaysia, Muslim majority country, for 2 years. Some guy brought food which contained pork and proceeded to microwave it in the communal microwave. Couple of minutes later, the smell permeated the whole office. It was quite small, and the company had to ask religious officers to come cleanse the place over 2 days, so we had 3 days off. Needless to say, the person got an earful from HR. Story 6. When I was 17, I worked the egg grill at a big university cafeteria. The grease, oil, and residue from cooking thousands of eggs each week would fall into a channel and drain into a removable metal trap about as long as my leg. Each night, we'd remove the trap, dump it, and put it back again. Sometimes we would rinse it too. Anyway, as a new employee, I was overly eager to please everyone. I cleaned the trap with scalding hot water and tried to get it as clean as possible. That's when I noticed the trap felt heavier than it ought to be. It was only partially filling up because at least 2/3 of it was filled with some sort of blockage. So I started banging the trap hard. I kept flushing the top third of it with hot water and slamming the trap against the inside of the garbage pail. Nothing's happening. I keep doing this over and over because tiny little pieces of congealed egg and God knows what else are breaking loose. Finally, I slam it once more, really hard, this time against the floor. Whatever was blocking the trap broke free, and this horrendous fucking gray and black sludge comes pouring out all over the kitchen. Words cannot possibly fucking describe it. The smell was like a living, breathing thing, a rancid mixture of purified egg, bacon grease, rotting flesh, and whatever the hell else was in there. It radiated instantly and irreversibly outward, slamming everyone in the kitchen like a punch to the face. I puked first. It wasn't even a question. I don't even think my mind fully realized what happened. I was just puking my guts out all over the floor in front of me. I dropped the grease trap and turned to run. And the 3 other employees were throwing up also. 2 of them into Rubbermaid pails, and 1 of them into the sink where he was washing dishes. People started running for the exits. That's what I remember most. This was at sunny Stony Brook, Long Island, and the Kelly cafeteria had about 30 plus people working back there at any given time. We all met outside the parking lot, gasping for air, trying to figure out what to do. No one knew what just went down except for me. They only knew something horrible had happened. When I told them I'd cleared the grease trap, they looked at me horrified. "Nobody cleans that thing, we just dump it," they cried. "We haven't cleaned that thing in fucking years." Needless to say, I was in charge of the cleanup. It involved a shit ton of bleach, several trips, and a steam hose. I found out a few people threw up in the outer areas too, out by the serving lines. One girl threw up into a bowl of salad she was chopping. Anyway, that's my story. Nothing will ever come close to that smell in my entire life, and for that, I derive a little bit of comfort. Story 7. Well, that was that one day one of the network guys was chatting up one of the female ops in the data center. He put his hand out to lean on a post and hit the emergency power cutoff switch. No, we didn't have a cover on it at the time. The data center goes dark. Attempts to turn power back on fried the UPS. 8 hours later, the UPS was bypassed and we got systems back up. Story 8. Our boss fucked up and ordered the wrong stuff. That cost our company over 20,000 euros. I fucked up, and that cost the company 300 euro. Guess which one of us got written up? Story 9. I used to work at an armored car company near Boston. We had an inside job one day. It was super fucking intense until we pieced together what happened. Here it goes. Truck pulls up to a normal stop. Driver's cousin gets on truck. Truck drives around Lawrence, shitty town north of Boston, for 45 minutes. It stops at its normal stops to pick up more money. Truck drives to driver cousin's house. Cousin takes 2 trips bringing duffel bags into his house. Truck drives away and finishes another hour of its route. 2 hours later, pulls up to Lawrence Police Station to report robbery that happened 2 hours and 5 miles ago. Said they were robbed by 6.5-foot tall Asian man. 2 hours later, after arrival at police station, driver and partner are under arrest. Well played, men. Story 10. One of the vending machines in work malfunctioned and set all the prices to 0. People formed an orderly queue to loot the fuck out of it. It was empty less than 15 minutes later. Story 11. Last week, someone accidentally sent an email intended for like 4 people to 8,800 people, pretty much the entire building. This triggered tons of people replying saying, "This isn't for me, take me off of this email," which then evolved into tons of people emailing, "Quit replying, all, everyone," which then turned into people sending memes and making fun of the entire ordeal. In about an hour, I received 216 emails. 216 emails to 8,800 people is something like 1.9 million emails, not including actual work emails outside of this, that our email server had to process in an hour. To anyone who works at Chrysler Tech Center, sweet Jeep, Greg. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch our YouTube video. If you find our content helpful and enjoyable, please click the subscribe button to stay updated on any new videos we share in the future. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you in our next upcoming videos.